And now the government's community-based learning program has suffered a major setback after the courts. I'll take that again. The government's community-based learning program has suffered a major setback after the courts stopped its implementation pending the hearing of a case in which a parent wants schools reopened. This comes as Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha defended the community-based learning program, accusing dishonest individuals of pushing for the premature reopening of schools for selfish gain.
The Ministry of Education will have to go back to the drawing board after the courts blocked the rollout of the community-based learning program that has been a subject of debate amid queries on its legality and practicability.
These are the children who are not getting online learning. Where they live, in the localities that they live, some of the 350,000 teachers are living with them. For example, me as Magoha, I am a teacher. And if I'm called upon by a group of children to go and teach mathematics in standard 5, 6, 7, or chemistry up to Form 4, I can do it without going to the lab. Do you understand?
In a new twist to the woes facing the Education Ministry, a parent moved to the court to demand the government reopen school in September for third term. In the case, the parent, Joseph Aura, has named the Cabinet Secretary for Education, the Health Cabinet Secretary, the Attorney General as respondents. In the petition, he argues closure of schools for prolonged periods violates the Constitution and children's right to an education. He is also accusing Magoha and Kagwe of alleging exhibiting reckless indifference to the possibility of causing pain and suffering on students and pupils, citing non-existent consultations with stakeholders. At the same time, he argues the community-based learning has no legal underpinning and is a weighting of Kenya's high education standards. This development coming as Magoha said the government will not be cowed into resumption of learning without putting in place the much-needed protocols demanded by the Health Ministry.
Some small number of private schools, some cartels in my own ministry. The narrative is that we must open, and we must open yesterday. And like I said, even yesterday from where I was speaking, the government is not going to be intimidated.
The CS explained that the community-based learning was meant to reach the children who do not have access to virtual learning facilities.
Online learning for our children, facts which you have. You also know that that online learning is not reaching all the children because, for example, the children in the slums, the urban slums and far distant areas.
Meanwhile, leaders from Busia County have called on the government to shelve the reopening of schools and instead use the school-based learning program until students and teachers are assured of their safety as the pandemic effects continue to be felt. For Channel 1 News, I'm Emily K. Bade.